In this next movie, we'll be exploring something that you've probably seen me do a few different times throughout this course, but you might not have been exactly sure how I did it. So I thought I would take some time and actually show you how to resize your artwork here inside of Illustrator. So the first thing you have to do is actually have your artwork selected on the artboard. And so I'll grab the selection tool and I'll just grab my little bear here. And once I grab the bear, you'll notice that I get a bounding box all the way around the outside. The bounding box is simply an invisible container that holds your artwork together. This container is where you're able to do all of the resizing directly on screen. You'll notice that in the four corners of this bounding box, you have little squares. These little squares are what we call control points. And on those control points, you can move your cursor to them, and you'll see that it turns into two little arrows in the corner here, here, and here, and down here as well. You'll also notice when I go to the ones in the middle that it goes straight up and down, or straight across. This indicates that I'm going to resize horizontally, this indicates that I'm resizing diagonally, and this indicates that I'm resizing vertically. When you're resizing artwork, you need to make sure that you're constraining the proportions of your artwork, unless of course you're going for some funky distortion. But in most cases, you want to scale equally on all sides, up or down. And so in order to do that, you're going to have to utilize something called a modifier key. And in this case, the modifier key is the Shift key. So let's say that I needed my bear to be a little bit smaller. I'm going to come up here to the top right corner and wait for my cursor to turn into the two pointing arrows. Once it turns into the two pointing arrows, I'm going to hold down my Shift key. I'm not going to let go of my Shift key until I'm done resizing. I'm then going to take my mouse, click, and drag straight down. As you can see, I'm resizing it way down. Once I've got it where I want it, I release my mouse and then release my Shift key. And now it's the same piece of artwork, only scaled down. If I want to bring it back up, I make a selection, go to the corner, hold down Shift, and click and drag. What happens if I don't hold down the Shift key? Well, if I do this without holding down the Shift key, you can see I can seriously distort my artwork. I can make him really short and fat, or I can make him really tall and skinny. But it doesn't look the same. It's not actually scaling everything to make it look like he grew or shrank. It's just making him look squished or wide. So in this case, I'll select him and I'll undo those changes and get him back to normal. I undid those changes by using Command or Control Z on my keyboard. You can also go up to the Edit menu and choose Undo. Now that I've got him up, let's take a look at other ways that we can resize. We can actually use a tool to resize as well. Over here on the left, there's the Scale tool, which you can access via the letter S on your keyboard or by clicking on it here. With the Scale tool selected, you can actually click an anchor point and scale artwork like this. If you hold down the Shift key, it will constrain based upon the angle that you're dragging, like so. You see, you still get some distortion as well, but it does scale everything equally as you go. So it's a little bit difficult to utilize the Scale tool in terms of just resizing, but it is a great way to perform basic scales of smaller objects. In any case, resizing artwork is always going to be a necessity. You're going to have to scale things up, you're going to have to scale things down, especially if you're repurposing artwork for multiple projects like print, web, or even going to mobile and tablet devices. You're going to have to be able to scale artwork. And utilizing these controls that I've just shown you is the easiest and quickest way to do just that.